Steiny and Guru with you on 95.7 The Game, joined by Mark, Willard, and Dan Dibley.
Our guys.
Hey, gentlemen, you're going to probably get a little bit of Brock Purdy news, I think, in the next 15 to 30 minutes.
Could be any second. So while we're talking, I'm going to monitor.
Okay.
All right.
Make sure we see what we see.
And
Would you do it? Oh, go ahead, Steiny. You're go ahead. You can do it.
you.
No. The whole thing will. All right. Thanks. All right.
No,
What's up, Dibs?
you hang
Would
up
you
first.
do it, though? Would you just keep them out and give them 2 weeks? We talked about what a concussion is, a brain bleed of some sort. Just let the head heal.
Yeah, so we talked about this a lot yesterday, and I fully understand everybody's humanitarian thoughts on this. What I don't understand is why we've decided to only have this conversation when the quarterback of the 49ers has a concussion. Because we send people in these NFL games out off of protocol and back into the game every single Sunday, and we don't blink about it. And then when it's a very famous player that we hear about and know about and talk about a lot, now it's irresponsible for him to play. I get that he'd be the first to go into the protocol and play that weekend, and it's off of a Monday. I'm very surprised. I'm surprised. But I heard you guys' conversation yesterday, and Dibs and I did it yesterday too. For me, if he's cleared, he's cleared. Just like everybody else in the league. You're cleared to play, you go do your job.
And I heard your breakdown of the. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dibs. It
Well,
was great.
the answer to the first question about us, and at least me, in terms of why would I have a conversation about Brock Purdy and not anyone else, because I'm doing radio in the city, in San Francisco, and it's 49er country. So if there's a Niner player that we want to talk about, then that's what we talk about. Now, if it's a Cleveland Browns linebacker who has a concussion, we're probably not going to talk about it so much. But for me, you go ahead and play him. If he's cleared, you play him. But if he gets concussed again and he's out 4 to 6, then that's the risk you take.
And that's Tua-like stuff.
Right. And also, if he plays 6 days after getting a concussion, you don't get to erase the 2 interceptions he threw.
Okay. There
I mean, you can if you want, but I won't.
Yeah, I got
personally.
What if he plays Sunday and throws 4 touchdowns?
Nothing to see here.
They're great. Then his 2 picks from last Monday, they stick. They stick even more.
Remember how
and
you were
everybody
saying
who's tweeting out, well, you know,
Dibs.
2 of 6 after the concussion.
Yeah, exactly.
Man was doing that yesterday.
Right. I know he was.
Yeah.
I know he was. But if he plays on Sunday and he throws 4 TDs, are you still going to look at those 2 picks and go, well, those 2 picks don't count because he had a concussion?
We all know they count.
I
I just think there might be a
Yes.
mitigating circumstance.
I just don't know what this Sunday has to do with last Monday.
No, it all counts.
regard to-
Everything counts in
No,
large
but
amounts.
I don't
Depeche
know.
Mode.
My point
I'm gonna
is,
give it to-
I don't know what he
'Cause you don't
could
know
or
it.
could not do on Sunday that would then reform an opinion about 6 days prior. Like, I'm in theory, I'm with you. I don't,
Sure.
as I've said to you, I don't know if you can blame the picks on a concussion. He had completed passes after the concussion too.
2 of them.
I have no idea what he was feeling
Yeah.
or seeing or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
To me, that's done. That's in the past. Nothing
all
that,
done.
Nothing that happens in the future is going to either change or shed light on what was going
Right.
on the previous week.
Of course. I took the SAT as a senior.
How'd you do?
Not great.
Okay.
And you kind of jumped the punchline. But the point is, I was up all night. I was out all night. And I got about an hour and a half of sleep. And I went to take the SAT, and I got a 950. And honestly, I was probably more of an 1150 guy, but I got a 950. And I could sit there and blame what I did before. And I don't know if you can call what I had a concussion. It was a brain injury of a different variety. But what you did is what you did. And that's where I land on Brock Purdy. That's all.
Yeah.
And if you want to couch it, and if you want to give him a pass, I'm not saying that you are.
Yeah, no, that's
there are
sports.
many out there who are tweeting, well, pre-concussion numbers, post-concussion numbers. Soft.
I think
those are fair.
Yep.
It's fair, but it's soft.
Well,
it's my opinion.
It's interesting.
Soft serve.
I think it says a lot about just and not to say which one is right, wrong, or otherwise, but it says a lot about people's perspective. What we try to pin to a player. It's like those picks are yours, but all those touchdowns are the system.
It's all him.
Is he getting credit or not?
He gets credit for all of it, and he gets blame for all of it.
Perfect. And so if that's where you are, I'm fully with you. I just think it's interesting that the national conversation about Brock Purdy, it tends to be one or the other.
So when all this stuff was going on with Tua last year, how did he play? How was he playing when he was debilitated?
Because they broke the rules.
Okay. No, I mean, how did he play? Like,
it was interception. It was bad.
Oh, you think it had
when he
something
played?
Yeah.
When he played, whatever he did is how he played.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
but was he healthy?
I mean, is anyone healthy? This time of year, nobody's 100%.
I actually don't remember, and it's an interesting question. The one that, like, you're talking about the game where he wobbled and left and then came back?
Yeah.
Which game was that, by the way? I don't remember.
Like, to me, yes. Does that go on Tua's record?
Tua didn't remember the play either, Willard.
Of course it goes on Tua's record, but if you're Mike McDaniel, you're probably looking at it and saying, you know what?
Something's going on.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he played the Niners and all open receiver like deer, balls over the head. Like, nobody was saying, that could be the result of, but I'm with you, Dibs. You're not erasing those picks Sunday.
No.
Nobody wants to erase those picks.
You don't get to erase it.
That's right. Just like Stafford doesn't get to erase the pick of the dude who dropped the ball right in his hands.
Kyron Williams.
That led to an interception.
No doubt.
That's Stafford's interception.
Right.
But the nuance of it is, man, he put it right there. I mean, it's the receiver's fault. Of course, Stafford gets it, but he put it right where he needed to put it. Like, we can interpret that.
Sure. You can nuance every stat line all you want. Like Christian McCaffrey, he played with a strained or a partially torn oblique. So we're going to go ahead and throw out this game because he had an oblique injury. But if he had a good game, then we don't throw it out.
No, we're not. Nobody's throwing it out.
No, but
why do you say we're throwing it out?
It's nuance, but bottom line is you play, and what happens is on your stat line.
That's right.
That's the way that goes.
I don't think
there's no nuance.
No one's arguing. Of course there's nuance.
There's no nuance
there's
to that.
There's a story to every single day for every single person.
Sure.
So we wouldn't do that if we asked you your life. In fact, you and I were just talking in the other room. You had an unscheduled trip today.
Yeah.
So did that affect your day at all? Did it change your story? Nobody's saying it's going to change your performance today on the show.
Exactly, because I can compartmentalize like my guy Daryl.
Right, and that's fine. But, like, if you're interested in the story of a player or a team and how they got there and what they might be dealing with on a given day, then there's a conversation here.
There's always a conversation
trying to change
about
a box
everything.
score. No one's trying to change a box score.
Okay, that's where I was going. You ain't trying to do that because that's why I was asking Steiny.
But
say what you're trying to say with that caveat of after he got hit, he got 2 interceptions. So now you're saying they only happened because he got hit.
I'm saying that.
Purdy's concussion is no different than Andrew Wiggins' disappearance. We're never going to know. But it's interesting, and there's curiosity.
No doubt.
And something happened there, and we will have to live our lives with only them knowing what the experience was like.
All right, give me this for that.
That's all.
Wiggins left his job, and everybody in the team included missed his absence. So there was something that did not get finished and interrupted. It was Wiggins' season. Brock Purdy finished that game. He finished that game and ended it on a game-losing interception. So my thing is, concussions are serious, but don't come tell me, maybe the interceptions happened because he got hit. You might be right, but the show ended in its finality with no, I need to come off the field. I'm groggy. So when Steiny came in with that, I'm like, so now you're kind of saying the interceptions happened because he got his bell rung.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying definitively.
Right.
Well,
but
maybe
those aren't coming off the list.
Maybe Steve Wilkes' bad call came because he didn't get a good night's sleep before.
Well, this is the way this is the analogy that I would make.
And that too doesn't matter.
I want to bring that up.
At 1:15, I go out to get my coffee, but I slip and I hit my head.
Okay.
And I get a concussion. But because it's a concussion, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if I should. And I come in and do the last 45 minutes of the show, and they stink. They stink. Well, guess what? That show is still on my ledger.
Right.
I stunk. But you know what? I think Nahigian might say, I bet he was concussed. Something happened. Steiny, did you fall? Yeah, I fell, hit my head. Okay. We just put that. Okay.
Yeah. It's just part of the story.
Part of the story.
This wouldn't be, I feel like you guys are taking it in a way as if Brock said this. That's when if Brock showed up and went, so I actually couldn't see straight, and that's why I threw picks. Now we've got an excuse and we've got a bigger issue. It is fair to wonder, and that's, I think, all anybody's doing. You're right that we can't blame it on
take
the
him off the
concussion.
ledger.
The same way you can't remove it.
Yeah.
You can't remove it from the realm of possibility.
I don't have to remove it because I watched the game and he threw 2 picks, and that's what happened. So there are many people out there in the media, fans, and those people on social media who are trying to couch it as, well, this is why that happened.
Wow.
And I don't think that to me, you can do that all you want, but I'm a black and white guy when it comes to what happens. And you talked about this before. Football is a very tough game.
Yep.
It's a violent game. And he got hit in the head, and he continued to play football, and he threw 2 interceptions, and that's what happened.
Totally.
That's where I sit.
I don't think anybody doesn't sit
No,
there.
many people are trying to, the pre-concussion.
I'm with you.
Are you seeing that? I'm not seeing that.
I'm seeing articles
it's
written.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Articles?
Yeah.
Send me the link.
All right, I will.
Exactly.
Send me the link.
I got 3 of them. I got 3 of them.
Send me the link.
They kind of pussyfooted around.
They
air for the interceptions
Exactly.
about, he was hurt.
To me,
To
me, this is no different than a quarterback who has a terrible game, and you look and say, you know what? That line was so bad, nobody was going to be able to do anything. Well, he threw 3 interceptions. Yeah, I know. And they're there. They're on his record, but
it's a fair
we
point.
all saw that he also got sacked 7 times because their offensive line stunk. It's just something you throw in there.
You've heard it about Daniel Jones all year.
I was just about to say
no
his name.
quarterback could succeed behind that offensive line. Well, too bad. It's on the stat line.
Exactly.
So, again, I don't disagree with anything that's being said in the room because I don't know how I would. I don't know how any of us can know what happened. We can know what's in the box
But you wonder. You just wonder.
I am someone, and some people aren't. Some people don't care. You want to turn the game on, have popcorn, and then leave. I'm interested in the story. I think we're storytellers.
Yeah.
This is one of the things we do.
No doubt.
And I'm always interested in how X got to Y and then got to Z and absolutely every single player is dealing with something different the same way the 4 of us are dealing with something different on every day when we come in, and everybody listening to us as well. I don't know. I'm interested in that stuff. We don't perform the same every day.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM, and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union.
Good Lord. We got so many things I want to throw at you. We'll start at the McCaffrey's fumbles. 3 in a row, 3 games in a row. Anything to see here? I told Steiny, I'm not jumping off the ledge, but I do find it, it's happening kind of when you're in the red zone. Well, anything to see here or much of nothing?
I think that because he was playing through an oblique, that he probably couldn't hold the ball tight enough. So I'm going to go ahead and not count that as his fumble.
Why do you think
not a fumble?
Why do you think he does this, Mark? When we've acknowledged that you can't take the fumble away.
He does.
That fumble doesn't count for him because he had an oblique injury. How could he not fumble when he had a tummy ache? It's not a concern. Guru, it's not a concern.
Okay.
I just try to talk the whole time.
All right, but Willard, seriously, you concerned?
I text Guru the same thing. How do you do it? When you call the Warriors core old for the 11th time, how do you do it, Guru?
Well,
how do you do it?
Let me tell you.
Not relative to this room.
Wait for the book, Willard.
They're 15 years younger than all of us. 20 than some of us.
But Willard, you concerned or nothing to see here?
With what?
With McCaffrey and the fumbles 3 games in a row.
I'm not concerned about Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, he's
a bad man.
Yeah.
Do you find it odd?
No.
Not odd. I guess is it. I don't even find it coincidental. I just he fumbled. I don't think in his career he's a fumbler, But every back goes through that. They happen in the red zone a couple of times.
That's all I was.
That's very, very unfortunate. But no, I don't think there's some sort of a trend there. If he does it 2 more times on Sunday, maybe we have a conversation.
Where does he rank in FPT fumbles per touch? That's my curiosity, because he touches it more than anyone else. So it would then.
Yeah. I don't remember him fumbling as a Niner up until those 3. Like if he did, it had to be 1 or no more than 2.
Yeah.
But I was like, Dallas, which was a fluke one.
Sure.
And then Cleveland, and then we saw last week.
Yeah.
Is that on that website you go to with all the analytics stuff?
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
FPT fumbles per touch. Yeah.
While you do that, I asked Steiny, we got into it. We had a conversation. Fair or foul, Wilkes being called out by Kyle Shanahan, or is that's price of doing business? You messed up, and the coach kind of told everybody.
That's foul to me. It's bad leadership. I mean, handle that in-house. That's
how
to me.
easy would that have been?
I mean, do you need to blast him? Yes, it was the wrong call, but you blast him once, and then you blast him again, and Bosa gives you the verbal shrug. And then he's got to come out yesterday and answer to it.
I felt so bad. I didn't want
questions.
to. Yes.
I thought that was bad leadership.
Steiny, Willard, oh, boy.
Well, I look at it more in sort of a head-scratching way, which is that I don't get personally offended by it, other than to say that I'm very surprised to hear that happen, and to me it speaks to some sort of a larger issue.
Okay.
Because Kyle Shanahan's not new. How head coaches handle questions in front of a microphone is there is a certain way that you handle questions like that, and for the first time in his career, he didn't. And we brought
Saul and Ryan's never got even.
Jimmy Garoppolo never got that treatment,
wow,
and we know damn well how Kyle felt about Jimmy after certain games, certain throws, certain misses, and so. I have a concern about what is going on behind the scenes because I don't think that happens. It's almost like, when you're mad at your partner or your kid or any relationship you have. You don't go public the first time you get mad. You go public the 27th time and after private measures haven't worked. Now, he did go out yesterday late afternoon and Michael Jackson.
Right.
He moonwalked.
Yeah.
Wow.
Somebody on the PR staff.
But the damage was done already, though.
Corey probably called him and went, Coach, we're coming in a little hot.
Yeah.
We got Steve over here on the microphone having to open up his presser with an apology. Man. We're a little over our skis. And so that's when you got the quote of, I should have called a timeout. I'm in charge. He's trying to walk it back because it was hot.
And I want
to watch the defense now because this,
no doubt,
this feels like something is bubbling.
And
beneath the surface
Bosa made me feel that way with his 2 cents.
I agree.
And now I told Steiny, I don't know if whatever Kyle and Wilkes have, I don't know if it can be repaired. And I'm not Wilkes' wife or a significant other or kid, but Dibs, I'd be like, I can't believe my boss did me like that. And we were 5-0. Everybody was talking about the great defense, and it was a bad mess up. But Steve, to do it that way.
Steve, you don't like it? Hit the bricks.
I wonder if that's not the worst. I mean,
see, listen,
it's almost an agitation sensation.
No, Dibley hit it right on the head. There are many aspects to being a coach. What Dibley said was that was bad leadership. And you know what? That is a weakness of Kyle's as far as I'm concerned. Leadership. I don't think he's a natural leader.
Why do you say that?
Because it's what I've observed in 7 years. I think he's a great play caller. I think he's got a million attributes. But, if you just break down one of the categories to leadership, I'm putting Steve Kerr as more of a leader than Kyle Shanahan. It doesn't mean Shanahan's not a good coach. Yeah. It's just maybe somebody's got to work on.
What are the characteristics of a good leader?
To me, got to take some accountability yourself. I think you've got to be respected by your team, which I think largely he is with this strategy stuff. But I do think there is an element where I think some players feel like he does treat them like a commodity. And that would bother me a little bit.
Do you have any examples of that when you felt that way?
Well, he's going to play Purdy if Purdy's clear.
Right, but okay. And you don't think Brock likes that.
Well, I don't know if he likes it or not.
That's what I mean. And I'm not trying to poke at you. I just wonder when we talk about a good leader or a bad leader, who determines that? I would argue that the people who are being led are the ones who decide whether or not the leader is good, because you need to have success and you need to inspire the room. I could think of some, I don't
Jimmy
know.
Garoppolo did not think
Debo
Kyle
Samuel
Shanahan was a great leader.
Anyone named Jimmy?
Jimmy Ward, Jimmy Garoppolo.
But
you threw in Debo.
I think all people
Debo,
not named Jimmy. I think they think he's a good leader.
I wonder about coaching.
I'm not saying, again, I just think that when you evaluate coaches, there's a million different criteria, and leadership's one. And I just don't think leadership comes naturally to Kyle Shanahan. I don't. I think he's a little awkward, and I don't know.
I took the L on the whole Brandon Ayuk situation a couple years back, and Brandon had all the opportunity to throw Kyle under the bus. And I feel what Steiny's saying, but at every turn, even the Debo contract, nobody's ever stabbed him in the back. Okay, we'll give you Ward, but he was playing out of position. But other than that, none of the guys that you speak of have went at Kyle or even subliminally kind of said, this dude ain't a leader. And I think sometimes when it's not a good leader or they think the coach is weak, something creeps out. To his credit, nothing's ever. Well, that was after the fact, though.
Doesn't mean it doesn't count.
It was also before the fact.
It was,
grapes,
probably all the time.
Okay. And Guru, I wonder if he had more faith in Kyle Shanahan, if he would have, or if he had more love for the leadership, if he wouldn't have strapped it up and been ready to play in Philadelphia in some way, shape, or form.
I remember him smiling that. Okay.
So I think that the examples are few and far between, but I do think that this Steve Wilks thing is an example of Kyle as a leader missing the mark.
Brock Purdy, according to Evan, officially listed as questionable. For Sunday's game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Which means
from Shanahan himself.
I think that he will play.
I do too.
Yeah, if he's questionable and he's gone through, if he made it through today and he doesn't have any setbacks, that means he's going to be cleared by tomorrow.
I am waiting for the designation of his practice today.
In terms of what he did.
Full or limited. And I will ride with whichever word comes out. If it is full, I bet he'll play. If it was limited, I bet we're going to see.
I asked Steiny what goes into that damn test. Forget the test. What about the test of it's a brain bruise? They got to buy. Give him 2 weeks before he comes back. Unless you're going to hit him or you're coming at him blitz, that I don't care what the medical test is, because Tua, they did the same thing and thought he was right. But this is my 2 cents. I think it's a bad look. If you run him out there on a Sunday after the Monday, he sustained a concussion. If his name was Tony Jones, I would say the same thing.
Yeah, I also think it's a bad look, but if he gets through the game and he's unscathed
4 touchdowns,
and they win, then we'll all forget it. But if he goes out there and he gets hit and he gets hurt, and now he's
on the table, Willard.
Yeah.
Well, it's always on the table.
When you're right to get hurt.
Are you guys keeping this same energy for every other player in the NFL for the rest of the year?
That's for Guru.
No, real quick. The only reason I'm not is because we're not in that market.
Okay.
It's not that I don't care.
Keeping this energy
like
for
I
every
cared
other
about
49er.
Tua. I cared about Tua.
Are we every other 49er for the rest of the year?
Who's concussed? Yes.
If concussed, skip a game.
I swear to you. He asked me if it was the Super Bowl, I would be thinking different. I would be singing a different tune.
And that's
I'm a hypocrite?
No, not necessarily.
It's interesting.
Not necessarily. All right.
The Super Bowl. Yeah. Hey, before you go, what's happening at the zoo?
Oh, a Halloween contest tomorrow. I'll be judging. 12-1. San Francisco Zoo. Thank you, Dibs. Yeah, 12-1.
Who's dressing up?
Don't throw a shoe at a tiger.
All the people coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he asked me my favorite.
Are we going as zoo animals?
No, we can come as whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, me and Ryan Crawford will be out there. And Steiny asked me my favorite animal on the spot yesterday. And I said deer. And people are laughing like, what?
Brother, I had to tell you.
It's a deer.
You're a deer hunter. How can that be your favorite when you're out there killing deer?
You got does. You got fawns and spikes. The ones you can't
shoot. The whole conversation actually made me belly laugh. I'm not kidding. I was driving around belly laughing. It's because the backdrop of the conversation was the zoo. And then you said deer, Which
I
live in an area where there's a very big deer population. They cruise down the street. I'm still in there. They're beautiful.
They're at the zoo.
They're beautiful
They're
animals.
not in the zoo, but they're near the zoo.
Oh my gosh.
No doubt.
Why aren't there deer in the zoo?
Because the deer will jump that fence and they're
How about a high fence?
Yeah,
Like
seriously.
I've been
Like
to
they do
Santa
the
Barbara Zoo's
tigers.
got lions.
Do they have raccoons and squirrels and rats in the
Why
zoo?
not? I mean, that's what I'm just asking the questions over here.
Yep.
Who decides which ones are appropriate zoo animals
It's a great
and
question.
those who aren't?
Well, one thing I don't like is when they cage the elephant.
There you go.
Oh, Santa Barbara. Oh,
Walk
he
it off.
tried to walk it off about an elephant. He's like the elephant in the room. Look at him.